Hello Steelers, and welcome to this very special game of Chain of Command. This is going to be very different to what I've normally played in the past. I'm actually going to be playing a Vietnamese version of Chain of Command. This has come from John Savage, who wrote What a Cowboy. He's been putting together for the last year or so basically some Vietnamese rules for Chain of Command. He's used those at various Lardy days that he's participated in. The last one I saw him at was at Lard Workshop. And I asked him if I could get a copy of the rules off him just to try out, and also try out on the screen as well, and he very kindly sent me them over. They are literally, I think it's only something like 8 pages, so it's not a it's not a full rewrite as such. What it does do is, though, it borrows very heavily from the Far East Handbook, which has just come out. The main difference being that the Vietnamese are treated like experienced jungle fighters, so like the Japanese, but without the red dice. But they also have a few other hints and bits and pieces that they can do, like sneaky japes and things. So I'll talk about those more when I talk about the forces themselves. Now, I am aware, before anybody says, that there is a previous Chain of Command set of rules written out there called DMZ. It's been around for quite a while. I do actually have a copy of it, I just never really got round to playing it. I have looked at those, and the thing is with those is there is a lot of leaders on the American side, so I think there's probably a little bit too much over-egging of the pudding in them a little bit, whereas John's are a little bit more thinned down. Instead of having a leader for each of the fire teams, you just have one overall junior leader for your squad, so it makes things a little bit easier for them to be manoeuvring and firing and things like that. So with that in mind, I'm going to try this out, and as I say, what I'll do now is I'll basically, as always, I'll show you the forces that are going to be involved. I'll show you the table that we're fighting over. It's going to be a very simple sweep of a Vietnamese village by the American forces with potential VC in the area. So here we have our two forces. On the left hand side we have the Americans, the USMC, and on the right hand side we've got the VC. In John's game he had them as NVA. I've just got them as VC because I don't have enough NVA at the moment to do them justice, so we just have them as the VC, which I guess, you know, in a village sweep you would probably have local forces anyway, but I'm just saying they are basically the same. So what we actually have here is we have a platoon headquarters. This is made up of our lieutenant, also staff sergeant, and also a corpsman, medical orderly. I don't know if it's corpsman or if it's corpsman, I'm not even entirely sure. Let me know in the comments. I've never said it out loud before. Then we also have 3 marine sections, and these are governed by a junior leader sergeant with an M16. He also has a grenadier with an M79 40mm grenade launcher and a pistol with him as well, which he can use using one of his command initiatives. Then we have 3 fire teams. So we've got 1, 2, 3. These are made up of 4 Marines, each with a M16. I've also added as well in here, I have 2 as a support, 2 M60 Jimpies with 3 crew on each, but they can then be split down and they can be attached as a 2 crew to each Marine section. So I've done that with sections 1 and 2 here. So these are the M60s, so this is why this section is smaller. So there's quite a few teams in each of these sections. They also have that M48 Patton tank as well as support. I've got the ACAVs here. These are just going to be used as jumping off points just because it's nice and thematic. And then on the right hand side we have the VC. In John's original rules these are NVA, but I'm using VC because they're local forces. This is led by a second lieutenant, also a senior sergeant as well. That's their headquarters, that's their platoon headquarters. Then each of those squads are made up of a sergeant with an AK-47, 1 RPD LMG with 2-man crew, and then also 5 riflemen with AK-47s. They also have access to an RPG-7 as well in there, so there's at least one of those in each of those. And then they have, as a support, an extra squad as well, made up like the other ones. They also have a political cadre, which is a political officer over here, the one with the flag. They've got an SMG and they're a senior leader, and they can activate anybody on their side. And then also we have as well the DSHK 12.7cm HMG with 3 crew and a junior leader. I've actually placed this in a hardcover bunker, so that's going to be a bit of a difficult one for the Americans maybe to wheedle out. You'll also notice as well we've got two groups of civilians here as well. These will be placed by the VC, but if the Americans control them with a full chain of command dice, they can then move them towards their table edge. If they move them off the table edge, then they get a bonus on their force morale. Also, we've got 3 cache of weapons and rice. These are hidden somewhere about in the village. The Americans have to stop and search for these. They will have a task role to do for that. And if they find them, then they will then either destroy them, they've got to destroy all 3 for a victory, or drive away the VC forces by reducing their force morale. The VC have basically got to do anything to stop that, of course. So you've seen the forces, here's the table. This is looking from the American point of view. I've already set them up ready for their patrol phase. There's a large paddy field here that is basically in front of the small village that they are intending to clear. The VC is set up there, and then we've also got basically 4 patches of jungle terrain on either side of the table here, so basically framing the village itself. So it's just in the middle. The Americans have got to, as I say, sweep and clear this village as quick as they can. Okay, I did the patrol phase off camera, just to quicken things up. So the Americans, they managed to get a little further forward onto the paddy fields here in front of the village. They've got 2 of them here, 2 of their ACAVs as jumping off points, and then they also have over here their 3rd one on the edge of that jungle and that paddy field bund. They also have a line of communication marker as well, which they've got to protect from the VC. Meanwhile, the VC, they didn't manage to get very far forward, but they pushed one on the very edge over there behind that little cover, just on the edge of the village, 1 on the paddy field on the edge of the village over there, and then a 3rd and their final one over here on the edge of the jungle as well, just to give them a bit of a flank, if nothing else. Alright, that's it. What I'll do then, I'll start up. It's the Americans to go first, so we'll roll the dice and see what they get for this turn. Right, so the Americans are getting the first roll. Let's see what they get. Oh, double 6, so that retains that phase for them. Meanwhile, they've got 2 1s, 2 teams, and a 3, which is a junior leader. So, or they could combine that obviously into maybe 2 sections, or a junior leader in a section, or a senior leader and a team. In their initial phase, the Americans have basically just jumped out a section using the 2, and they've all gone tactical, so they're in the paddy field just in front of the village, because that's their objective, is to find those caches and destroy them. They've also brought on their M48 as well, stuck in on Overwatch with its junior leader, just so it is watching any approach from the VC. So I forgot to mention that the VC already have these 2 groups of civilians. They have to be 24 inches away from any American jumping off point, so that's the furthest, the closest I could get to them. They will move towards American jumping off points in the VC turn, unless they are used for whatever reason. Then the Americans can take control of them potentially and get them off the table and get points for that as well. Right, second phase for the Americans then. See what they get this time. So we've got 5 chain of command points. It's going to be useful. They've got 2 4s, that's 2 senior leaders, and they've also got a 1 and a 2, so a bit of a mix there. They could do a bit more with that, with maybe the junior leaders perhaps. Okay, first of all, using one of those 4s, they've actually brought their staff sergeant now, and what he's done is he's flipped some of those teams, should I say, over onto Overwatch rather than tactical. So they are now watching that village, and they're a bit further forward, so I thought I'll put those on Overwatch, just have them sitting there for now. Meanwhile, the M48 hasn't moved, but they have also deployed a second second squad over here on this bund over here, so they're now trying to flank the village as well. They're going to try and push forward, I think, without hopefully not deploying that 3rd section just yet. And then also they've put these guys on tactical, so these are not only in light cover on the bund, they've now gone up to heavy cover or hard cover on that bund as well, just in case there's any firing that starts. The Americans have got a lot of firepower, so they're trying to bring that to bear before the VC do much. So let's have a look, see what the VC do. They've got 2 5s, which is 2 chain of command points for them, which is nice. Takes them up to 2 straight away. 6 does nothing on its own, but they do have a 3 and a 2. So junior leader and a section, should they need it. So just to quickly show you what's happened here, the VC have deployed from their jumping off points over here into the jungle, going on tactical using the 2, and then they've also used their junior leader to deploy their DSHK, and now that is enfilading fire in against the Americans here in the paddy fields. So it's going to reduce cover by 1, but also as well, just while it was the VC's turn, I've actually moved the civilians as well. One moves 10 inches, one moves 7 inches. They'll be working their way towards the Americans as quick as they can. But let's do this firing first. Okay, so most of them, apart from this team over here, are within 24 inch. So I'm just going to spread the hits across these rather than these guys here. So it's going to be on these 3 teams. There are 2 senior leaders in there. Well, the senior leader and a junior leader in there as well. So these are hitting on 4s up. Let's see, unfortunately, they're just outside of the Overwatch bracket for any of the return fire. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits in total. So that's going to be, just going to spread these out, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 and 5. I think that's sensible, isn't it, across those? So, first ones, these are currently in light cover because they're up against the bund, but this reduces cover by 1. So it's going to be a 5 or 6 is a kill, 3, 4 is a shock for the first team. So look, we've got a 3 and a 2, so that's 1 shock on that first team. Then we've got 2 hits on the next team, same again, 2 and a 1, nothing. And then finally 1 hit on that last team, that's a 2, nothing. Actually, that is probably the worst result they could have got. Only 1 shock after all that fire, so not great. Well, that wasn't a brilliant firing from the VC, but it will mean that it's going to start to draw the fire of the Americans at least. So they, I guess it swings around about 2 3s, 2 5s, sorry, gives them 3 chain of command points in total because they already had 1, and then 2 6s is a retain the phase, and then a 1 on its own is a single team. So think about what we're going to do with that single team, if anything to do at all. I don't think. I can turn a rifle team and fire back at least. So the Americans are returning fire with this team. So they dropped off Overwatch and they are hitting on 5s and 6s. They're just over 18 inch. So unfortunately for them, each of their M16s only has 1 shot. It would have 2 if they were less than 18 inch. Let's see, I don't think this is going to do a right lot. Actually, that's 3 hits, 5s and 6s. But then they need 6s to kill. 5 is shock. It's only a 3-man crew with a junior leader in there. Well, let's have a look. Oh, that is a kill though. 1 single kill. Is it on the junior leader? Yes, it is. So a junior leader's been hit already. What's happened to him? He has been lightly wounded. Sorry, no, he's been knocked out until the end of the turn. So that is a wounded junior leader. So that's a bad things happen. Straight away for the VC, that's a 4 on a junior leader wounded, is 1 point off their force morale. So not bad shooting, Tex. So the American next phase. It's another 6, another one, and another chain of command points. That goes up to 4 now. Right, so they got 4 and a 2, so that's senior leader and a section. That's useful because they've got their sergeant out already, so he can get somebody moving or doing something at least, I think. Okay, first of all, they used their 2 to move forward this section. They basically moved in teams. They moved literally 1 inch for each one of them because they were going tactical, but they're staying on tactical at least, so they're still in heavy cover. Meanwhile, this section over here, using the squad over here, should I say, using their command initiatives from the staff sergeant, he first of all got this team to throw a smoke grenade, so that's now blocked, not line of sight, but it's giving it a -1 on that DSHK. Then he also ordered, using the rest of his initiatives, the rest of the section to move forward, the team, the squad to move forward. So these basically are now plodding their way through the paddy field itself, but they've also got a -1 to be hit because of that smoke grenade. So we'll go on to their next phase at least and see what happens with that. Right, let's get it up. A 6 does nothing on its own, but they do have another chain of command points, taking it up to 5, so that's good because that's getting closer to getting their fire support coming in from the Cobra. Then they got 2 3s and a 4, so that's senior leader, 2 junior leaders. Very useful, I think, for what they need at the moment, just to get away from that DSHK, I think. Okay, so we've used junior leader. He is going to, he's got the M48 to come up and he's going to fire a flechette round into the into that DSHK to try and pacify it. Meanwhile, staff sergeant got the section to move forward, the squad to move forward. This time they did a normal move and they managed to get at least most of them off the paddy field, and he also instructed these chaps to throw another smoke grenade to cover that movement as well. So we've got 2 smoke grenades down, and then meanwhile they use their last 3 to get their junior leader over here to get this squad forward as well, and they've now managed to move out of the paddy fields. They ring themselves off and they are now coming down to the flank of the village itself at least, and hopefully going to do a bit of threatening against that VC jumping off point over there, but we'll see. Okay, so that flechette round on the M48 fires with 10 HE basically. It doesn't reduce cover though, so it's better than the HE on the gun, but it doesn't reduce cover. It's got limited ammunition, so I'm going to say if it rolls 3 6s, then it is out of ammunition for the game. Right, so let's see, we're hitting though on a it is hitting on a 5 or 6. It's quite a way away. We haven't rolled 3 6s, but we have rolled 1 hit, so that's 1 hit on there, still in hard cover, so that's a 6 is a kill, 5 is shock. 6, it's a kill, 1 of the crew is dead. There are only 2 crewmen left in there now. Well, after what seems like an eternity, it's the VC turn. And let's see if they make it useful. They've got 6, does nothing. They've got 3 and 3 1s. That is quite useful actually, so have a think about what they're going to do with those. So a VC team with their junior leader have deployed here into the paddy here, and they're firing at the Americans over here. I'm going to put them in light cover, even though there's some in the street and because there's some behind the buildings, but I'm only going to concentrate the fire on these ones here. It was not going to hit anybody else. There's only 2 teams in there, but there are junior and senior leaders as well in there. Now they've got 2 firepower for each of their AK-47s plus 6 for their RPD, so 16 in total. Let's have a look how many we're hitting on 4s up. So we've got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 hits. That is way above the odds for those fellas, so that's going to be 5 hits on each of those teams. So as I say, light cover first of all. So this is going to be on the LMG team at the back here. There's only 2 men in this. 6s are kills, 4 5 is shock. So we've got 1 kill and 3 shock on them straight away, so that's not good, is it? So there's their shock, and then I'll just put that 6 to remind me, because they're on multiple bases. And then we've got 5 hits on the others, same again, light cover. Let's have a look at this. We've got another kill and also another shock on them as well, so just put that shock quickly down on those. Now those 2 kills, are they on the junior or the senior leader? So look, 1 or 2 it is. No, it isn't. So it is actually a kill on each of these teams. So the VC are using a 1 for the team to put some rounds down with the DSHK. They've also used a 2 for their other section over here just to move a little through the jungle. They're going to start to threaten those American jumping off points. But anyway, firing first of all with this. -1 to hit, it's hitting on a 5 anyway, so it becomes a 6. Sorry, no, they're actually in close range with the DSHK, so it comes a 5 or a 6 to hit. And they've got 2 hits, and this is only in a single team here. 2 hits on them. They're in light cover. It gets reduced though because of the DSHK, so they're back to in the open. 5 or 6 is a kill. Let's have a look. So a kill and nothing else, so just 1 kill there. So the Americans are getting pretty badly shot up at the moment, so let's just see if they can turn things around. Let's have a look. We've got double 6 though and 5, so that gives them a chain of command point, giving them a full chain of command dice. So they do have another turn, so that takes them up to a full chain of command dice, which I know they wouldn't. Actually, for 2 5s there, so 7 chain of command points. So they've now got a chain of command dice and a point extra, and a 3 junior leader as well. Okay, so I think what they might do is get that Cobra gunship in to do some damage on that DSHK. I think that's about the only thing they can do. Okay, the Americans have used their chain of command dice to call in a Cobra gunship. Unfortunately, I don't have a Cobra gunship model, so this Huey is going to have to do. But basically what happens is it picks a target, which in this case is going to be the DSHK. It covers an area 12-inch square around it, so I've just marked it out. and everything in it, every team in it is hit with 4d6. So there are the VC down here, there's 2 teams down here, so they're going to get hit as well, and also the DSHK. It also reduces cover. These guys are in light cover, so they're going to be in the open. These are in hard cover, so they're going to be in light cover. Hopefully I'm going to be able to reduce the threat from the DSHK with this roll. So first up, the team on the DSHK, 6 is a kill, 4-5 is a shock. So look, that's 2 kills and 1 shock. Is that kill on the junior leader who's in there, who's already knocked out, remember? So look, 1 or 2, yes, he's been hit again. So what's happened to him? A 3 is he is wounded again, so that's him actually knocked out because he only has a level 2, so he's killed. So that's a bad thing's happened for the VC. That's a 5. 2 points off their force morale, so they're now down to 7. Well, they're not doing very well, are they, at this point? So that's them knocked about a bit, and also a man killed in there. I'll mark that up in a second. Now, the hits on the other VC team. So we're going to start with the LMG. So 6 is a kill. Sorry, 5 is 6 is a kill. 4-5 is shock for these ones. So we've got 1, 2, 3 shock and 1 kill. I'll just put that. That's on the LMG team. So that's those guys there. Then 4 hits on the other, and this time it's 2 shock on them. So there's only been 1 kill out of that, but that has caused them a bit of pain at least. Let's put that down there. So that kill, junior leader or not? 1 and it is. 2, no it isn't, so it's just one of the regular guys. Right, so all the Americans have done now is just use that junior leader to reduce shock in the village, because they've got that second activation coming up. So let's have a look. With 5 gives them another chain of command points, and then they've got 2 1s and 2 4s. Reasonably useful, I guess. What the Americans are doing here is they've used their staff sergeant. He's reduced shock. He's also moved a man from one of the other teams onto the GPMG team, so he's now back up to 8 firing, and then also getting everybody to fire as well. So basically what we've got there is we've got the GPMG is firing with 8 dice, and then we've got a 2-man team over there, and they are firing with 4 dice, and they're firing at these guys here in the bund, so they're in light cover as well. So hitting on 4s up. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. That's way above the odds, I would have thought, for that amount of firing. So 4 hits on each of those teams. So LMG team first of all. So that is, they are in light cover, so that's 2 shock and a kill. So we'll just put those 2 shock down first of all. There's a 2 shock. And then 4 hits on the rifles, and this time we've got 3 shock and another kill, so that's quite a lot of firepower the Americans have put down there. And then finally the Americans have used those 2 1s, one to get this team moving forward and one to get this team moving forward as well. They both really haven't got very far, but I'm trying to get them out of line of sight of that DSHK before it pops up and starts doing its business again. Right, back to the VC then. Let's see what, oh, they got a double phase this time. That's good for them. So 2 4s and a 2. 2 is a section, and the 2 4s are senior leaders. So the VC have deployed a senior leader, but it is their political cadre. So he has come out, or she has come out in this case, reduced shock off them, moved 1 man over onto the DPD, and then using that 2, they are firing again at the Americans that are in the village. I'm going to include this section, this team at the back this time, so it's going to be spread over all of them. So let's just see what we get. Hitting on 4s up, 2 hits. Yeah, 2 hits. So they're obviously not listening to that political ideology, but let's have a look. So I'm going to take a hit on these guys and a hit on these guys simply because they are the closest. So the first one, rifles, 6 is a kill, 4, 5 is shock, 4 is shock, and then on the LMG, and that's a 6, that's another kill. God, you wouldn't want to be on that LMG crew, would you? Is it a leader though? No it isn't, so it's one of the LMG guys, and a shock on the rifles. Okay, so back with our VC, their second phase now. That gives them 4 chain of command points. So they've got 2 5s there. They've got 4. Another senior leader. That was a 1. I just knocked it over. A 1 and a 2. So that could turn that into a junior leader, or teams, or various other things as well. So the VC are using their senior leader once again to reduce shock and also then get that section to fire at the squad in the town square again. Let's see if they can actually hit this time. Couldn't hit a barn door at 20 paces last time. Let's see, we're hitting on 4s up. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. So that's going to be spread across the 3 teams. There is only 1 man left in that LMG team. They are firing through both sections, groups of civilians, so that will scatter them. So that doesn't affect the VC. It would affect the Americans if they'd done it, but they don't. It's not a force morale thing. So we said 4 hits, so that's going to be 2 hits on the front team and then 1 on each of the others. So the 2 hits on the rifles, that's 2 kills. I'll just put that to remind me. Then a hit on that LMG. Is he going to get killed? Let's see. No, he's not. And then 1 hit on the last rifles is another kill as well. So that's 3 kills in total. Junior or senior leader hit. Let's have a look. A 3, yes, one of them is. 1 to 3 junior, 4 to 6 senior. It is 1 to 3 junior. What happens to him? 5, he is knocked, well, he's wounded, but that's a bad things happen for the Americans, their first one. That's a 4 for a junior leader wounded. Is 1 point off their force morale. The final thing that the VC have done is use that 2 to deploy a section behind the buildings blocking line of sight from that American squad over here. Right, well, play bastards back to the Americans. And 2 chain of command points for them. Again, a lot of chain of command points in this game. Right, 2 3s and a 1, so junior, and a senior leader. Oh, sorry, 2 juniors and perhaps a senior leader. Okay, the Americans have taken too many hits, so what they've done is they've just pulled this section, this squad back. The sergeant has reduced shock on them using a 4, and then for the other 3, they've just actually pushed this squad forward onto the edge of the village to the side. They're just getting a bit jittery with those 2 sections in the village over there. So, yeah, let's not hang around too long. Right, let's see what a VC get. So we've got a 5 chain of command point, gives them 5 in total. Then they've also got a 2, a 3 and 2 4s. Senior, junior and a section. So the VC are launching a human wave attack. What they've done is they deployed a section over here. They spent 3 chain of command points. And then activating a senior leader, which is this fella here. So anybody within 12 inch of them, that's everything up here. So we've got section here, and the section here, can charge 3d6, ignoring shock, but also taking terrain into account. So let's do that. We'll take them one at a time, see how far they get, and they're all attacking at this American squad over here. So let's just roll some dice, see how far we get. First one's at the back. Let's see, they are going, oh, they've got 11, 14 inches, so they are definitely in. So let me just put their leader here just to show where he is. The squad here, the ones that have just appeared, they are going 7, 8 inches. That does just make it even up to there, so they are now within 4 inch of the section there. So let's just put these here. I'll sort these out in a second. And then finally the last ones, I'm going to take 1 dice off because they're crossing that bund as well. So they are going 6 inches. Do they make it? 6 inch, I don't think makes it. No, it's just outside of 4 inches, but they've got 2 sections in. I'll move everything up and then we'll do the close combat. Well, I've done the dice calculations and the VC may have spat their load here because they have 26 dice to the Americans 30, even though the VC are aggressive. If they'd have been able to get those extra troops in, they might have just pipped this one, but let's see. I think this is going to be a huge wipeout and it might be game over, but it's worth a try, isn't it, for the VC? Right, I'm going to roll theirs first of all. So let's do this and then count it out. 5s and 6s are kills, with obviously 6s also causing shock, and everybody's involved because they're all within 4 inch. So let's see, everybody's potentially going to get killed here. 1, maybe not actually with this roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's only 6 kills on the Americans. That's not great. So let's see how those defending Americans do against the VC. Right, let's have a look. So then we have 5s and 6s. 6s also causing shock. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I've got cocked one there, so I'll just roll that in. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the Americans have won the fight, and also some, quite a bit out as well. Let me just roll this one because it was cocked. That's a 6, that's another one as well. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kills on the VC. Wow, okay, that's not good for them, is it? Right, let me just work this out with the shock and then we'll come back in a second. Right folks, I've done the calculations and worked things out off table. Right, so basically what happened was the VC lost two teams in their LMG teams, so they disappeared. They also lost 2 junior leaders as well as part of it, because I always take them as being killed immediately in close combat. There's no roles for anything else. The Americans lost 1 junior leader. They also lost a team as well because their LMG team also disappeared as well. So we're going to do some, and then the VC lost, so they are now scattered and they will run back 18 inch. I've just got them there just to show you. They've got 2 shock on them because it was doubled as well. So what I'm going to do now is just work out these bad things happen for both sides. So we're going to start with the Americans first of all. So they have had a section wiped out, sorry, a team wiped out. So that's a 4, team wiped out. That's 1 point off their force morale. Then that takes them down to 8. Then they also have that junior leader killed as well. That's a 5. That's not going to be good, I don't think. That's 1 point. It is only 1 point off at least. Let me just double check that. No, it's not. That's 2 points off. That drops them down to 6. But that's all they've got. Right, now it's the VC's turn. So they've got 2 teams wiped out. So I'll roll those together first of all. So that's a 5 and a 2. 5 and a 2 on a team wiped out. 1, 2 is no effect, but the 5 is 1 point off, drops them down to 6. But now they have 2 junior leader killed. This could be the making or the breaking of them at this point. I think if both of these come in quite high, I think it's probably pretty much game over. Let's have a look. Double 6, don't get much higher than that. Junior leader killed is 2 points off for both, so that's 4 points off. 1, 2, 3, 4. That drops them down to their force morale of 2. They are absolutely battered at this point. I don't think they can do much more. The Americans took heavy casualties getting in there, but I think that is going to be game over for the VC. Right, I'll just tidy up and I'll show you what has happened at the end of this game. So that human wave is more like a human dribble, really. As I say, the VC are down on 2 on their force morale, so I'm going to call the game. There's literally no point just dragging this on. The 2 remains of the 2 sections are back here, 18 inches away from the fighting. There's this section here. If they'd have got in, they'd have had another 12 dice on top of the one, so I think they may have just, well, at least probably actually no, another 16 dice because of their being aggressive. So no, it's not that high, but anyway, they would have had quite a lot more and probably done quite a lot more damage. They only needed to kill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more Americans to wipe out that section. But the Americans are pretty stable, up on 6 force morale. The VC right down on 2. As I say, there's just no point dragging it out. Over here, the VC got as far as the jungle over here and then got pinned, as did that DSHK, by the Cobra gunship attack over there. So they're just sitting there basically not doing much. The old M48 was about to get into the paddy fields and come across and deal with the DSHK, and then basically we had the other section up here. This was a fresh section, fresh squad should I say, because they're American. I also had the VC had put everybody on the table, meanwhile the Americans hadn't, so they still had another squad ready to go. So even if we'd have fought on, it was basically the losing odds were on the VC side. So yes, great game, fantastic, really enjoyed that. Very different game of Chain of Command. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you did, and if you want to see more Vietnamese games, because I'm happy to use the Vietnam collection over time. Probably made a few mistakes here and there, as I always do, but that's part of the fun. It's all about the narrative, folks, remember that, not the rules. So yeah, if you've enjoyed it, and if you don't subscribe, please do hit that like and subscribe button, because it will cost you nothing and you will get videos. Also, if you want to check out Patreon and also channel memberships to help out the channel, then please do. They are there waiting for you. You'll get early access to videos that are also ad-free as well. So I will see you in the next Storm of Steel video, and thanks for watching.